Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We've had to come inside for the show now.
Chilly
I think
out
we're in. It's chilly out there.
Mm-hmm.
At the board meeting last night, we had a couple of announcements. The voter registration deadlines are coming up. If you want to register to vote, and you're eligible, of course, you have until October 12th to register for the special town meeting on October 22nd, and you have until October 17th to register for the November 6th national election, state national election. We also have a couple of forums coming up. The Coastal Management Plan Work Group is having a public forum on Monday, the 15th at 6 o'clock. I'm pretty sure it's at 6 o'clock. Is it at 6 o'clock? Yes. At the public safety facility, and they're going to be talking about, they've divided the island into, I think they're calling them sectors, and they're talking about Sector 2 at this public forum, which is from the West Jetty to Eel Point, that area. We're also having a butter meeting for the Phase 2B Downtown Sewer Rehab Project, which there is a map of online. And there's the forum, it's not really a forum, it's a meeting with the butters who might be affected by the project, which is going to take place in certain areas of the downtown beginning this winter. Streets are going to be ripped up, sewer pipes are going to be replaced, water lines are going to be replaced. The streets will be put back together for the summer of 2013, but the project won't be complete by then, so we'll have to finish it up next fall and winter and then do the streets final in 2014, spring of.
How many streets are we talking?
There's a number of streets. There's parts of Fair Street, parts of, I don't even want to, Gardner maybe? I don't even remember. There's a map online.
All right.
A meeting for abutters, and I think abutters have been contacted as well, to the extent that we know who they are. Monday, the 15th at 4 o'clock in the upstairs training room of the public safety facility, 4 Fairgrounds Road. So if you're an abutter to any of this, you might want to attend. Although there will be ongoing communication after that. This isn't your only chance to find out more. Okay, we had a couple public hearings last night about real estate items and agenda items about real estate. We also had a public hearing on 2 citizen articles that are on the October 22nd special town meeting warrant, which pertain to expanding sewer districts. There's one for the Sconset Sewer District, one for the Town Sewer District. To make a long story short, the Finance Committee had recommended against those articles because of the town's procedure to review criteria in connection with the lots that would be included in the expansion of the sewer districts, and they didn't meet the established criteria. After some discussion, the board decided that they were going to make a positive motion on these articles, or provide a positive motion to the citizens. It was a little bit unclear. But anyway, positive action recommended. The board adopted the warrant for the November 6th state election. That's just kind of a technical thing. We heard a report from the DPW director about end of fiscal 12, end of year budgets for solid waste and sewer. The board discussed the annual town meeting timeline for 2013. And we're going to talk about it again next week because there's an issue with the calendar and the timing, and when holidays fall, and when school vacation falls, and when we want to have the election. The board is really trying to have the election, the annual election, after town meeting, so that the board members, the selectmen, who are up for re-election, can sit in through the town meeting. So you have town meeting, and then you have the election the week or two after. So anyway, to make a long story short, this year the board was trying to have a Saturday town meeting again, which would have been April 6th, which would be April 6th. If we have the election the following Tuesday, if we haven't finished town meeting on Saturday, that means we go into Monday, and then it's very difficult for the town clerk to set up for the election on Tuesday. So then we talked about doing it the following week. That won't work. That's school vacation week. The week after that is the week of the 22nd, April 22nd. That could work, but it seemed a little bit delayed for people. So then we talked about a little bit about after the meeting, maybe we don't have town meeting on Saturday. Maybe we have it on Tuesday, the 2nd, and have the election the following week. Anyway, this is probably way too detailed for people, but we're talking about it again next week. and we'll get it resolved. Okay, so we also talked about entertainment licenses. The board is making an effort to try to standardize certain conditions of entertainment licenses. They had a basic discussion about it last night. They've asked for a public hearing on the 24th of October for people to give input. Any interested party could come in and ask questions, make suggestions, things like that. And then when the entertainment licenses are renewed in December, that's when the restrictions would be, or changed conditions or whatever would be actually applied to all of the licenses. So more on this as we go forward, but again, the effort is to standardize conditions. I mean, I think mostly in certain areas like downtown, say, if you have outside entertainment, it should all stop at a certain time. It shouldn't be one time for one restaurant, one time for another restaurant, that sort of thing.
Why not let everybody just stay up until 4 in the morning?
Well, Gino, I think that's an issue for
Are
people.
we allowed to do that by law?
No, by law.
Because it's a state thing.
Well, yes.
Not like
in
New York.
connection with liquor licenses. If you didn't have a liquor license, you could stay open till whenever the board said. But almost every, I can't even think of an establishment that has an entertainment license that doesn't have a liquor license.
Oh, yeah.
So it's in connection with they're separate licenses entirely. But the closure issue generally coincides with statutory requirements of when you stop serving alcohol.
And the state says 1 o'clock, right?
I think it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's 1 or 1:30.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that entertainment license issue comes up again on the 24th. They had a little bit more of a discussion about, there's a property on Eel Point Road, 9399 Eel Point Road, that has in the Conservation Commission process for erosion control on the bluff there. And there's a concern by some of the board members that will that project impact adjacent property? And the town does have property adjacent to this one. So the questions were maybe what happens if the town property gets scoured or affected in some way? And what can we do about that in advance so that we can try to prevent that? So basically, we get down to sending a letter to the Concom that asks them to put in their order of conditions for the project that if there is an impact on town or adjacent property, that certain mitigation measures be implemented, that sort of thing. Okay, that was about it for the board meeting last night. Next week, we have public hearing Wednesday. We have a lot of public hearings next week. Several of them relate to the relocation of poles for the Hummock Pond Road bike path. We have an entertainment license for Kitty Murtaz, and Great Harbor Yacht Club wants to switch licenses from seasonal to annual. That's interesting. And we have a new bulk propane fuel underground storage and sale license for Arrowhead Drive LLC for property located at 7 Arrowhead Drive. This was a public hearing that had been scheduled for September. The applicant asked that it be continued, so it's continued to next week. What else do we have? We are getting an update from the airport about its current budget. And we are having a discussion about taxi regulations. Over the summer, we got a lot of complaints, various complaints about taxis and fares and things of that nature. So the board asked town administration with the police department to come up with some recommendations that could deal with these complaints that we were getting. So they're going to have a general discussion next week about it. And then depending on what the board wants to take, a public hearing would be scheduled to actually make amendments to the taxi regs. I think meters is going to come up.
Yep.
So just so people know, I think this is already filtering through the taxi community, which is perfectly fine. And I'm sure
Are they happy with that idea?
I doubt it.
Because it costs money?
I'm not really sure the reason. I think there may be taxi people who are fine with meters. It certainly is a very routine manner of conveying people around using meters everywhere else.
Yeah.
Not everywhere else, most places. But I think there's some concerns as well that might be legitimate, and hopefully we can deal with those. So that, again, it's a general discussion next week. It is not a public hearing. The board is also going to be talking about a fact sheet for some of the financial articles that are coming up at the special town meeting. I'm working on a guide for the articles for the special town meeting, and I'm hoping that can sort of incorporate any fact sheet that we're working on. And there may be, we're not quite done with the agenda for next week yet, so there may be a few other things. And what else, Gino? It's just been really busy lately.
Gosh.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But that's town government for you. We're busy.
Yeah, and
we're not sitting around.
You're keeping it together.
Trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Trying.
All
I'm
right.
going to Cape Cod Managers today. There actually is an agenda item about special town meetings in the fall.
You're going over there?
I'm going over. Who's
You
having
fly,
one?
or?
I'm going to fly. It's
Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah.
And we have travel bid.
Oh, that's good.
Island Air.
So will you be back tonight?
Yeah.
Is it a luncheon?
It's a luncheon. We meet in a different town every month. We're meeting in Brewster today. We go to a restaurant. The bill is split up by everybody. It's usually like $20, $25, whatever. And we have an agenda. And today we're talking about Open Cape, which is a, what is Open Cape? It's sort of a computer-related internet, Wi-Fi effort to get everybody sort of connected. I'm not really explaining it very well because I don't know that much about it, but they're going to give me an update on that. There's a regional 911 dispatch effort going on over on the Cape. That doesn't affect us, but it's sort of interesting to hear how that's going. And then we're going to be talking about who's having a fall special town meeting and what are the items on your warrants. That's always interesting, really is, to hear what other towns are doing like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what today is all about.
Do you bring Greg with you?
I often bring Greg with me, yes. Greg is too busy to go today. He's got a ton of stuff he's working on. He spent all day yesterday with some other department heads on labor issues. So he's stressed.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not going to go. It's just me.
All right.
Yeah. And usually I try to get a ride to, my microphone fell again.
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
It's still there.
Okay, Usually I try to get a ride, so I don't have to rent a car. Occasionally I can't get a ride, so I have to rent a car, but Barnstable, town manager, often picks me up at the airport and takes me and brings me back. Today, somebody else is going to do it, so it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
works.
Brewster's a nice town. That'll be fun.
Yeah, Brewster is a nice town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting to know my way around the Cape,
Yeah,
going to the meetings.
that's
'cause
another
I don't
issue.
I don't
Sure,
really
that's
know.
good.
All right, so that's about it. Thank you very much. See you next time.